inside cabin inspection and my safety start. First, I'm going to make sure my safety belt latches and unlatches properly. Properly mounted and secure. The belt itself has no freight and no ribs, and it's properly adjusted. My seat is properly secured to the floor, nuts and bolts are present and tight, none loose or missing. Now we're going to continue with my safety start. I'm going to make sure my truck is in neutral and my parking and trailer brake is engaged. Continue with the ABS light. Make sure the ABS light come on and off with the key and on position. ABS light is working properly. Came on and off. Depress the clutch now and start the engine. Now we're going to make sure my pressure is built up at 120 psi. It is at 120 psi. I'm going to continue with my static check by turning off the engine. Key in on position. Fully apply the brake pedal. Release. Parking and trailer brake. Push to release. After the initial drop, I should not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. I'm going to make sure the gauge is stabilized to start count. I'm going to start count 1 minute now at 85 psi. The minute is over, pressure is holding, no air leak in the brake system, pressure is still remaining at 85 psi. Now we're going to continue with my low pressure warning signal devices. By pumping the brake pedal, I'm going to reduce the pressure at 60 psi. The light and buzzer should activate. Stop pumping now. Low pressure warning signal devices are working properly. Activate at 60 psi. Continue pumping the brake pedal for the emergency spring brake activation. Should happen in between 45 and 20 psi. Continue fan off the brake now. Emergency spring brakes are working properly. Popped out at 30 psi. Now we're going to continue with my air compressor and governor cutoff. To perform the air compressor and governor cutoff, I'm going to safe start the engine. Allow pressure to build up. In between 100 to 125 psi, the governor should cut off. While pressure is building up, I will continue with my inside cabin inspection. I'm going to check my seatbelt, but I'm going to do it again. My seatbelt has no ribs, no frays. Unlatched and latched properly. And it's properly mounted and secure and adjusted to me. My seat is properly secured to the floor. Nuts and bolts present and tight, not missing. My windows, passenger side window and driver side, driver side window, passenger side window. It's clean, not broken or cracked, no damage. Open and closes properly. Silk around the window is intact and no damage. Driver side mirror and passenger side mirror is clean, free of illegal sticker, and is also properly adjusted to my view. My windshield is properly mounted and secure, not broken, cracked, or damaged, free of illegal sticker, nothing obstructing my view. My windshield wipers and washer fluid is working properly. The blade has no ribs and no fray. My defrost is working properly, up and down. And my heat and cold and the AC is working properly. The height of my trailer is 12.6. The weight is 32,000 pounds and legends 56. Registration and insurance card for the tractor and trailer is in place and up to date. Continue with my steering wheel. My steering wheel should have no more than 10 degrees of play. My two horns, the electric horn is working, and my air horn is working properly. Continue with my signals. My left turning signal is working properly, and my right signal is working properly. My emergency flashers is working properly. Headlights and panel lights is working properly, and my high beam is working properly. Continue with my gauges. Air application gauge is working properly while using service brake. Raise up to normal and indicate the amount of pressure applied to the service brake. Diesel exhaust fluid gauge is working properly. Raise up to normal, indicate the amount of fluid in the tank. Water temperature gauge is working properly. Raise up to normal, indicate the engine temperature should be in between 170 to 230 degrees. Oil pressure gauge is working properly. Raise up to normal, no warning light. Normal operating range is in between 35 to 75. RPMs is working properly. Raise up to normal, indicate the revolution per minute. Normal operating range is at 700. MPH gauge is working properly. It's at 0. While driving, raise up to normal, indicate the speed limit. Voltage gauge is working properly, indicate the alternator is properly charging, and normal operating range is in between 12 to 15. Fuel gauge is working properly. Raise up to normal, indicate the amount of fuel in the tank. Primary and secondary air brake gauge is working properly. Raise up to normal, indicate the amount of pressure in the system. Continue with my emergency equipment. Behind my seat, I got the light bulbs and spare fuses. I have a box with first aid kit, 3 triangle reflectors, properly mounted and secure, not broken, cracked, or damaged. On my left, I got the fire extinguisher fully charged and up to date, with the safety pin in place, not broken, cracked, or damaged, is properly mounted and secure. My pedals, not broken, cracked, or bent. The rubber cover is in place, no damage. If I press and release to my pedals, get back to the normal position. The floor is clear, free of debris, no oil, grease, no oils can roll under the pedals. Now we're going to continue with my 4-point brake check. Pressure is built up at 120 psi. First, I'm going to check my tractor brake. To check my tractor brake, I'm going to release my trailer brake. I'm going to depress the clutch, shift to drive to the first gear, and I'm going to try to move. My tractor brake is working properly. Now we're going to check my trailer brake. Pull to apply the trailer brake, push to release tractor brake. Try to move. Trailer brake is working properly. Now we're going to check my trolley brake. Apply my trolley brake, push to release the trailer brake. Try to move. Trolley brake is working properly. Now we're going to continue with my service brake. We're going to slightly apply the service brake and release the trolley brake. I'm going to move forward 15 feet at 5 miles per hour. Tractor should not pull from one side to the other. Service brake is working properly. Tractor is not pulling from one side to the other. Indicate that we have no suspension issues or low tire pressure. Now I'm going to make sure the pressure is built up at 120 psi to continue with my road test. I'm going to raise up the RPMs between 10 to 15 to build up the pressure a little bit faster. Pressure build up at 120 psi, the governor cut off. My inside cabin inspection is complete. I'm ready to proceed with my road test.